Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and start our sphere. This is one of the toughest shapes. In fact, the cylinder is actually a lot easier to draw. But either one you want to start with next, you can start with after you've completed your value rectangle. So I'm going to start with the sphere only because that's the one I see most students struggle with the most. So I'm going to do a demo, and then if you need to, you can follow along with me or kind of copy as I go if you need to upload it to your phone or watch it at home on your own computer. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start by tracing my circle. Again, I needed to trace it with a window because my sketchbook paper was kind of heavy. So now that it's drawn on, it's not the most beautiful circle, it doesn't matter, we're going to be filling it in. I'm going to keep this guy here as a reference just so you guys can see it. So it's just like with the rectangle, we're going to start with the darker areas first. My pencil's pretty dull. It looks kind of sharp, but it's pretty dull. And then I'm going to go ahead and start right here, because right here you can see this is what's called reflected light, or the light of the surface is reflecting back on the sphere. So in the very middle, that's where it's the darkest. So the most important thing is start kind of back and forth. So I'm just kind of picking up like that motion. It's important whenever you draw that you're mimicking the actual shape of the drawing, so that you're emphasizing the contours of the drawing. So the contour is another word for the shape of whatever you're drawing. So we're drawing in the shape of a circle, so our lines want to correspond with that. In other words, they're going to wrap around. I don't want to go just straight up and down. I'm kind of curving them a little bit like that. Notice how I'm still doing that motion with my pencil. That's super important to get in the habit of. You want to lift up every single time, or you can do what I'm doing and just kind of back and forth motion, where you're lifting up every single time. I'm just gonna notice I don't have a heavy outline, just nice and soft. Then I'm just gonna real gently, I'm barely touching the paper right now, and my pencil's really dull. I'm just gonna start to fill in those lines softly. Remember what I said with the rectangle, whenever you have a nice bright white area like here, you wanna leave it totally alone. I can always go back darker later. And again, you don't want to rely too much on the blending stump because it's not going to help you. You got to do the value with the pencil first. Again, my lines are curving around the contour of the sphere. So they're curving. Then I'm just going to try to hide all those pencil lines and soften them up. So they're going like this, so I'm just going to kind of angle my pencil a little bit against those lines. Start to pull it up. I'm noticing it comes up pretty high up here and I'm pretty low, so I need to go a little darker up here. Notice how I didn't draw a circle right here. Sometimes I see a lot of you will just draw a circle up here so that you avoid that area. Don't do that because that circle is going to show through. Even though you can erase, you're still going to see pencil marks on paper. They're always going to stick just a little bit. Pull it up a little bit more here. Just like so. Then I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to cover this whole area because it's all the way dark, but it's still light. It's not as dark here. It's just kind of a medium tone, mid-tone. like so. Now it's much darker right here in the center. Do you guys see that? So now what I need to do is add a little bit more on the middle. Okay, that's pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start with my blending stump. Again, I'm going to make sure that most of the paper is touching along this edge. I'm not going to hold it like a pencil. If I do that, it's going to take me forever to blend all that. So if I hold it kind of low, remember I'm gripping it like this. You can grip it whatever is easiest. I'm just kind of laying it flat on the paper. And I'm going to just do that where I press heavily. I'm making motions like this. It looks like this, just like that. I'm gentle along the edges because remember, I want you to focus on the edges as much as you can, because when you're doing your actual drawing, you'll want to make sure your edges are nice and smooth too. So I'm starting in my heavier area so that I can spread the graphite. I'm lifting up every single time. Remember, you don't want to go back and forth without lifting up every single time. I work in circles, small, really delicate circles sometimes help too. Just not in your super light areas. That's where you want to go with your little dashes. But in heavy areas, you can totally go in kind of small cylindrical circles. Now I'm going to hold it like a pencil, only so that I can get that edge a little more smoothly. You guys will see what I mean when you start. So it's not spreading super smoothly, so I'm going to hold it again like so. Just kind of real softly pull that graphite out. Real soft little circles kind of going across. And again, hold it kind of low. Now we'll kind of bring it down a little bit further. Again, I'm not pressing as hard here as I am right here, because even though this is a mid-tone, you still want to be pretty gentle with your blending stump. The only place you can apply a lot of pressure is right in your darkest area. So again, you press hard and kind of let go of pressure every single time like that. That's what you want to do. Otherwise, all that nice value that you put in is not going to show. It's all going to turn dark. So again, the blending stump works just like the pencil. You press hard in the dark areas and press lighter in the light areas. Now, I'm going to come in and clean up my edge a little bit. I can come in, add a little bit more shadow here. Now I can use my kneaded eraser, kind of clean up any messy edges that I might have. Just kind of pinch it, I get it nice and sharp like that, and then I just kind of grab that sharp edge and work my way around. I can also take it and tap it, kind of lighten up some areas too. Remember, you want to use a little bit of all three while you're working. A little bit of the pencil, a little bit of the blending stump, a little bit of the kneaded eraser. That made it a little uneven, so I'm just going to come back in with my blending stump, just kind of smooth that out one more time. Everybody's experience and process will be different depending on what kind of pencil you laid down, so that's okay. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of that shadow that's at the bottom of the sphere right here. Just to make it look finished. Okay, now I'm just going to use my blending stump. Don't have to worry about dark to light or anything like that. And just like that, you'll have your completed circle. Voila.